Have you ever been driving and just felt like the speed limit was kind of random? Sometimes it feels way too slow, and other times it feels dangerously fast. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the whole idea of speed, and you're about to see that the number on the sign, that's just one little piece of a much, much bigger puzzle.
I mean, we all see the signs, right? They're everywhere. But take a second and really think about it. Is the number on that sign really the right speed for this exact moment, on this exact road, in this weather? As we're about to find out, the truly correct answer is almost never just the number on the sign.
So, to really get a grip on what's going on, we've got to learn to speak the language of the road. And, believe it or not, the vocabulary around speed is way more complex and a lot more important for your safety than you'd probably guess.
Okay, let's start with the absolute gold standard, appropriate speed. This isn't just about following the law. It's about being totally in sync with reality. It's the speed that takes into account the rain slicking up the road, the car that's a little too close in front of you, how sharp that next curve is, and yeah, even how tired you are. It's smart, it's dynamic, and it's what actually keeps you safe.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. We all know what excessive speed is, right? That's just plain old speeding, breaking the law. But inappropriate speed, that's the silent killer. Think about driving at the speed limit, or even under it, but on a foggy, icy road at night. You're not technically breaking the law, but you are absolutely driving way, way too fast for the conditions. And knowing that difference, it could literally save your life.
And the list keeps going. You've got your maximums and, of course, reduced speeds for things like school zones. But did you know there's often a minimum speed? That's right. On major highways, driving too slow can be such a huge hazard to everyone else that it's actually illegal, unless, your car is breaking down.
So why all these different rules and definitions? It's because when we talk about speed, what we're really talking about is managing danger. The stakes are just incredibly high, and the consequences of getting it wrong, well, they're devastating.
When you push down on that accelerator, it's not just the car that goes faster. Your brain actually changes. Your field of vision narrows into a tunnel, literally erasing everything in your peripheral vision. Your reaction time slows to a crawl. You get more tired, more aggressive. The bottom line is, at high speed, you are physically and mentally a worse driver, period.
Now, let's talk about what this means for people outside your car. If a pedestrian gets hit by a vehicle going just 50 kilometers per hour, that's only about 30 miles per hour, their chance of survival is 50%. It's a coin flip. Okay, now watch what happens when we just nudge that speed up a bit. At 80 kilometers per hour, so around 50 miles per hour, the fatality rate for that exact same person jumps to nearly 100%. Their chance of survival is practically gone. That small increase in speed has an absolutely enormous consequence.
With stakes that high, it's pretty easy to see why all these rules are so specific, right? So let's take a look at how these speed limits are actually calculated and designed to keep us out of those terrible situations.
At first glance, a chart like this might seem a little complicated, but it's all based on a really simple principle. Just look at the difference here between a regular car and a big truck on a motorway, 120 versus 90. Why? It's all about mass and momentum. A heavier vehicle is carrying way more energy, so it needs a lot more road to come to a stop safely.
And when you get into the city, the logic gets even more precise. You ever wonder why one street is a 30 and the very next one is a 50? It's not random. It's all calculated based on things like the number of lanes, if there are crosswalks, even how high the curb is. Every single one of those signs is telling you a story about the potential dangers all around you.
But why those exact numbers? Why 30 or 50 or 90? Well, it all comes down to one thing: cold, hard physics. The science of how a 2-ton metal box moving at high speed can somehow come to a complete stop is the foundation of every single speed limit you see.
See, stopping isn't just one single event. It's a two-part process that happens over a surprisingly long distance. First, there's the human part, and then comes the machine part. Let's break them down.
Part 1 is what we call reaction distance. This is the distance your car travels before your foot even finds the brake pedal. It's the time it takes for your brain to see a ball roll into the street, go, "Whoa, that's a ball," and then tell your leg to actually move. For most of us, that's about 1 full second. And at 90 kilometers per hour, your car travels 25 meters. That's the entire length of a swimming pool in that 1 second where you're just thinking about what to do.
Part 2 is braking distance. This starts the instant your brake pads clamp down. This part is pure physics. It's the kinetic energy of your car versus the friction of your tires on the road. And this distance gets massively affected by everything from how good your tires are to whether the road is wet or dry.
And here is the key takeaway, the whole point. You add those two things together, the thinking distance and the actual stopping distance, to get your total stopping distance. But here's the really terrifying part. It doesn't grow in a nice straight line. When you double your speed, your braking distance doesn't just double, it quadruples. It grows exponentially.
Okay, so now that we get the science, how do we actually use it? Well, this knowledge is what lets us build a proactive buffer, like an invisible field of safety around our vehicle.
So how do you apply this in the real world second by second? It's the 2-second rule. It's simple. You pick a landmark up ahead, like a sign or a tree, that the car in front of you passes. Then you start counting, 1001, 1002. If you pass that same landmark before you finish counting, you are way too close. And if you're in a tunnel where you have no room to swerve, you need to double that to 4 seconds. That's your safety bubble in action.
You know, in the end, all the physics and all the rules, it all comes down to this. That space between you and the car ahead isn't just empty pavement. It's filled with your reaction time. It's filled with your car's braking distance. It is a choice you are actively making every single second. So the next time you get behind the wheel, just ask yourself, how much safety have I chosen to put in front of me today?